Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom. I am Shamash Brian, and it is a pleasure, an honor, and a great duty of mine to come and to bring a word of inspiration, a word of hope, a sermon, a word sent by God. So this week is Parashah Terumah. Let me start off with a quick tale and a funny one at that point. So in the past 2 weeks, in the Torah portions, we read about the Jews accepting the Torah, the Israelites accepting the Torah. And in this week's portion, the Israelites have left Mount Sinai and begin their journey through the desert. Now let's imagine for a moment, if we would be traveling through the desert with the Israelites, with Bnei Israel, we would certainly be driving by car. Wouldn't you think? After all, if you can take a car, why go by horse? Why go by foot? So what type of car would you think we would take? For the people that are on Zoom, would you be so kind enough to mute yourselves? Thank you. So what type of car would you think we would take? So let's see some of the options that we have. So if we would have to travel in an SUV, a four-wheel drive, nobody wants to drive in a desert, right? Nobody wants to drive a desert in a sedan. It would just get stuck in the mud, in the sand. And with that in mind, there are other possibilities. Could you mute them? Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Alrighty. So our
Okay.
is going to go like in the blooper reel, you know, like when they film movies and like we're all going to laugh afterwards. So our sages tell us that the Jewish people were the first slaves to ever leave Egypt in history. That would call for a Chevy Trailblazer, wouldn't you think? We began traveling in the desert during Passover. That would call for a Nissan Pathfinder. Along our travels, we'd be discovering many new places. That would call for a Ford Explorer. However, I think that this answer is a terrible mistake because there would absolutely be no problem driving a small car in the desert. Why not? Well, because our sages tell us that the clouds of glory accompanied the Jewish people, Bnei Israel, for all the years that they were in the desert. The clouds of glory were above them and surrounding them on all four sides. More than that, the clouds of glory went underneath them, smoothing the ground for them. Can you imagine how Bnei Israel felt? Like they were on top of the clouds. So, my sermon for this week is the art of giving. And the art of giving, it's an art, it's an expression, it's something that's done voluntarily. Now, giving what? Giving how? Giving when? Well, we're going to explain that and many more things. So, giving isn't for the faint-hearted. In fact, giving or contribution like Terumah is this week's Parashah, contribution. We give our contribution that is mentioned in this Torah, done out of free will, voluntarily. Hence the expression, the art of giving. So where's the art in giving, or better yet, what is the art of giving? Now, like most people, at any point in time of our lives, we have given freely. We have contributed our resources for a good cause. Some have given a stranger pocket change. Others have given food and clothing for the less fortunate. And some have given their time to help someone in need. We have either given and received at one point in our lives. And actually, let's look deeper into this. So I want to highlight a few examples in the Torah and pretty much in the Torah portion rather, and pretty much this Torah portion, it discusses what God wants for us to do, to build, to serve. He wants to dwell with us. So he sends Bnei Israel, he sends through Moses, tell the people, the children of Israel, to build a Mishkan, to build a tabernacle, to build the Ark of the Covenant, to build out of a piece of fine gold, hammer it, and adorn it, and build a menorah. But that's all it says, instructions. But how do we connect the instructions with the times of our lives, with this contemporary time that we have? So I'm going to highlight these examples, and I want to use analogies in a way, but in reality, they kind of click. So the Mishkan will be the tabernacle. The tabernacle symbolizes, but it does not replace the synagogue. The synagogue for us would be the Mishkan. Now, when we come every week, we meet in this place. We help build it to see what you see right here. You know, when we come in, it's just chairs and an empty stage, but we come and we build it. We come together. We come together and build it. And this is the perfect example of coming together to build the Mishkan, to build the tabernacle. We contribute our time to build it for God. Oh, how I wish for us to come in and just with the flick of a switch, everything would just be here. We wouldn't have to break, we wouldn't have to set up, we wouldn't have to break down, we wouldn't have to squeeze into that little room every week, but come in and worship Kabbalah Shabbat on Friday night, worship Saturday morning, and everything be here. That's a dream of mine. The positive side to building the sanctuary every Shabbat is that the fact that it brings us closer together. It brings about a sense of community, and at that, it keeps us humble. It keeps us very humble. You see, coming to synagogue and being a part of the service is only the first step. The crucial part, and what my message is going to highlight, is serving. Yeshua said, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. This can be found in Matthew 20 and Mark 10. There's a song that actually Reb Andy mentions it every now and then in his sermons, and I thought about him this week, and I thought about this song, and I actually heard about it. I heard the song. And the song is called Gotta Serve Somebody. And the lyrics to the chorus goes, but you're gonna have to serve somebody. Yes, you are. You're gonna have to serve somebody. Serve somebody. I'll give you even a better example of serving. You see, Yeshua washes Simon Peter's feet during the Passover time, right before he goes to trial, and he ultimately sacrifices his life for us. But he washes Simon Peter's feet first, then all the other Talmidim, all the other disciples, during the Passover Seder. This is found in John 13. Peter was the first to understand that it was an act of serving one another. Peter at first didn't understand. He said, Lord, you're going to wash my feet? Why? You know, it's a job that's so lowly, let the servants do it. But then Yeshua said to him, you won't understand now, but you will understand later what I'm doing. And it clicked right then and there that act, that what he was doing, what Yeshua was doing with Simon Peter and washing his feet, was he was serving. He was literally expressing how to serve one another. Our destiny fulfilled, our calling, our purpose, our plans in life, our goals, our ambitions, our accomplishments, Each and every one of these include serving. You know, these things don't just happen just like that out of thin air, or you know what, God's going to bless me and I'm just going to sit right here and I'm going to wait for that blessing. It doesn't necessarily happen that way. You see, in Judaism, and especially in Messianic Judaism, we are a faith that we are called to serve. We act, we do. So everything that we do, we are serving one way or another. And like Rabbi Ben used to say, you're either serving him or you're serving him. Who will you be serving? But I don't want to digress. To serve, you need to have Torah in your heart. You know, I will write my Torah. I will write my instructions in their heart. Torah, the Bible has to be in your heart. You have to know it inside out. You have to be proficient in it. And you will be, because you are here right now and you are listening to this sermon. It's not because I have these great set of words and you guys are just going to I'm going to hypnotize you with these words. But in one way or another, you guys are searching and you guys are on the right track. And to understand these words, to understand the teachings, you will see them when you are serving. You have to be proficient because you're listening to the words of God. You're listening every week. You're listening every moment that you have. Every precious moment that you invest into learning, into listening, into doing, you get tenfold back. You get double back. For I know the plans that I have in mind for you, declares Adonai. Plans for shalom and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope. This is in Jeremiah 29:11. Plans for shalom and not calamity. These plans, what do these plans have? We don't know what these plans are. Each and every one of us are in a journey of our own. And each and every one of us have talent. Each and every one of us have a gift, a certain gift that we can use. Not only here in synagogue or in church, but out there once we leave these doors. That is the field. The work is plentiful and the laborers are few. I wanted to touch base on the menorah. So, as you can see here, this is a menorah. It's gold, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lampstands. The menorah is a symbol of light that we carry, and we shed light into the darkness. Let me go a little deeper with this. So there's 7 lamps. And how does that apply to us? Well, I'll tell you. These are 7 lamps, 7 lampstands. And we have 7 lampstands of our own. You see, we have 2 ears. We have 2 eyes. We have nostrils. And we have a mouth. 7. What a beautiful number. 7. So what is the purpose of the menorah? It's to light into darkness. And what is the purpose of our lives? It's the same thing. It's to bring light into this world. To shed so much light into the darkness that people have no idea how beautiful that light is. That light is not your own. That light, this right here, the middle one, is called the Shamash, and it's a servant candle. So when you light the menorah, the middle one is the Shamash, and that one's lit first, and then you light each and every one of the lampstands. And so like that, God lights up our life through Torah. He lights up our spirit. He lights up our smiles. He lights up our words. He lights up our walk. Why? Because we are needed out there. There is no hope for people out there. There is no light for people out there. But you guys carry the light. And we express this, and we have this art of giving the light, sharing the light, expressing the light. To bring hope, to bring healing, to bring inspiration, to bring love, to bring God to people who need it. So ears, so the light and perception. You see, the lights of the menorah shed the light, allowing the Israelites to see and navigate the sacred place of the tabernacle. That's what it's for. That's what it's used in Parashah Terumah. And then similarly, our eyes serve as windows to the soul, enabling us to perceive the beauty and the wonder of this world, because we shed the light. Just as the menorah illuminates the darkness, our vision brings clarity and understanding to our lives. The ears and understanding. The two ears of the menorah, or the outside, if you will, represent the ability to listen and to comprehend. In a similar manner, our ears enable us to receive wisdom, knowledge, and divine guidance. By listening attentively to the teachings of Torah, to the teachings of God, and the voices of others, we deepen our understanding of ourselves and our relationship with God, with the Almighty. And the mouth and speech, the central lamp of the menorah, known again as the Shamash, represents speech and communication. Similarly, our mouth serves as a tool for expressing our thoughts, serves as a tool for expressing emotions and prayers. By using our words wisely and compassionately, we can bring light and healing to those around us, just as a Shamash light to the other lamps. We bring light to everyone else. By recognizing the similarities between the menorah and ourselves, we deepen our understanding of the sacred symbolism embedded in this Jewish tradition, the menorah, and lighting and shedding light, spreading the light. Just as the menorah radiates light and beauty in the tabernacle, in the Mishkan, may we strive to illuminate the world with our actions, with our words, and bringing holiness and blessings to all. Yeshua says in the new covenant, freely you have received, so freely give. Give to KHD, for we desire a place of our own to worship God. And we can pass this down to future generations. Give your time to God, because by doing so, God will bless you abundantly. Give your time to serve, because believe it or not, this world, the communities that you live in, your homes, your family, they all need you. You are very important. Give your time. By serving, you become a pillar of strength for others to emulate, for others to be inspired and to do the same. Just as we emulate the teachings and the life of Yeshua, our Messiah. Freely you have received, freely give. The art of giving is a lifestyle of generosity and service. I wanted to share a personal message. About 20 years ago, my wife and I, we got married, and it was such a wonderful time, really. And what I had noticed was that she had a lot of friends that loved God and that worshipped, that served freely. They didn't necessarily were a part of a group or a church or a synagogue. They just met every week and met as constantly as possible. And this is very important because they came over one day to our home, and I can't remember how many women there were there. One of them was Miriam, a good friend of ours. And because of this good friend of ours, she shed the light to my wife. She told her about God. She told her about Yeshua. And because of that, because she served, she did it willingly. She had already received, so she was freely giving the words. She was giving, I'm getting even like emotional, like the words of salvation, the words of God, the words of Yeshua. And how I saw like my wife literally walking like closer, drawing closer and closer to God. And I was on the opposite side of the house, and I'm not going to lie, I had a beer in my hand, and I wasn't in the right place. But I looked at it from far away, and I said, you know what? I want that. But who am I going to turn to? Who am I going to ask for this? And all I had to do was just ask. And 20 years later, I'm giving sermons. I'm so grateful. I'm preached with gratitude. Because I wanted that. I wanted, not necessarily community, because community, it's when you ask something for God, He'll give you twofold. He'll give you tenfold. He'll give you 100-fold. Because what I wanted that. I wanted love. I wanted compassion. I wanted friendship. I wanted something that I couldn't buy. And all I had to do was understand that God had a purpose for me. Jeremiah 29:11, and I know that I had to get there through serving. And serving is something so beautiful and so powerful that it changes your life. And if you're looking for a change in your life, I can't do this anymore. I've been doing the same thing over and over, and I'm just not lucky. I'm not. Serve. Because that, believe it or not, by serving, that's like the opposite. When you serve, you're already receiving. It's the same thing when you give your time, when you give your resources, when you give anything to help another out. You're not just investing, you're already receiving, because you have Torah in your mind and in your heart, and that's the only way you can give freely. That's the only way you can serve, with Torah in your mind and in your heart. They have to work simultaneously. If not, the heart wants to do something, but then the mind says, no, I want to do something else. Or vice versa. My mind, I'm going to do that, but my heart still is on something else. The heart and the mind have to be together in unison to do these great things. And the heart and mind have to be in Torah, because the plans that God has for you, they're there waiting for you. Put Torah in your mind and in your heart and with all your strength, just like we were singing the song earlier in Hebrew. And I guarantee you, God will multiply your blessings. But it's not just about just coming in and listening, it's about doing. Paul said, works without faith is dead. And likewise, faith without works is dead. As we draw our time together to a close, let us carry forth the teachings of Parashah Terumah, embracing the art of giving our time, the art of giving an encouraging word, the art of helping somebody out in need, the art of just giving your time and listening, giving your time and serving in the synagogue, serving at shul, in church, going out there where the field is, and laborers are very few. Dedicate your time to that, and by doing that, you are already receiving. And you will lack nothing. You will need nothing as long as you serve. But remember, you got to serve somebody. Serve somebody. It's either him or him. When you're serving him, you'll be serving the people who are after him. If you're serving him, well, I don't know. I don't even want to talk about that. But serve, and serve freely. See how people look up to you and they say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving. Thank you for your time. And when they say thank you for all of that, you say thank you, God, for letting me serve. This is what it's all about. Let our contributions be like the golden threads adorned in the Mishkan, weaving together a tapestry of community and devotion. As we depart from this place, may the spirit of generosity and service continue to guide our steps, illuminating our paths with the light of Torah and blessing. L'shalom lechulam and toda rabbah. Peace to you all, and thank you very much. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.